Well, good morning. Hello. Happy Thursday. I'm glad to be here. Several years ago, I was launching a new product, a new service that I was offering, and I was super excited. And I remember being on the phone with my first potential client for this particular service. And I was so excited because I was excited to be able to sell this product. So I was talking to her, and it was becoming clear is not the word, but I started seeing red flags that maybe she wasn't my ideal client, that there were just some things that maybe we weren't a fit. Now, I'd done a lot of work around defining my ideal client, and I kind of had I had a pretty good idea of who I could best serve, and there were some red flags going off. There was that little tingle in my gut telling me that maybe she wasn't the right fit. But I was excited. I actually tried to talk her out of hiring me. Several things, like I tried to bring up the red flags I was seeing and tried to bring them to her attention, and gently, of course. And really, I tried to talk her out of it, and she just wouldn't budge. So I finally went with it. I thought, well, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I'm just supposed to do this. So I did it, and guess what? It wasn't good. It was not a good relationship. We ended up having just a real struggle trying to get through the process and help her. She wasn't very coachable, so she wasn't able to listen to my advice and take the suggestions that I was offering. There were just several things that just didn't fit. And had I really paid attention to my ideal client profile and paid attention to that tingle, that gut feeling that it wasn't good, I probably would have saved myself and her a lot of grief. But it is what it is. What that led to for me is I was able to hone my ideal client profile that much tighter, and it gave me more confidence in listening to my gut, that when I'm talking to somebody that, for whatever reason, they could be lovely people, but if I just get the feeling that I'm not going to be the right fit for them, that I can't help them to achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve, then it's in my best interest and their best interest to actually to not let them hire me. And so having that ideal client profile is critical. So let's talk about how to even go about doing that. So first of all, what is an ideal client? An ideal client is someone that you love working with and who loves working with you. That is the simplest definition of an ideal client. Somebody who you can actually help and that you just love. When the phone rings or when you get an email from them, you're excited. Or maybe excited is a strong word, but you are not dreading that communication. You're not dreading to pick up that phone. You're not dreading talking to that client. And that you can actually help them with the problem that they have with the solution that you offer. So that's the first thing. That's the ideal client. Now I want to talk a little about how to define that, and then a few tips on paying attention to that when you are talking to somebody that may become a new client. So let's talk first about how to define your ideal client. The easiest thing is to look at past experiences with clients, both good and bad, and learn from that. Look for some trends, look for some commonalities, look for the common threads between the people who you love working with and the people who maybe haven't worked out so well for you or for them. Pay attention to those things that you're seeing as a thread. Now, if you're brand new in business, you don't have experience, then start thinking about the type of people that you get along best with in your history in general, in past work situations. Who are the type of personality, the personality characteristics that you get along with? What are the values that you have that they need to align with? What are some things that just rub you the wrong way? Your pet peeves of how people treat you or how people behave. What are those kind of things? And that will help you start thinking about the type of person that you can best help. And that's going to start crafting out your ideal client. Now, when I work with my clients, we talk about ideal client in two ways. First of all, the demographics. The demographics are important to kind of get a picture, but the demographics are the things that are very tangible, the things that you could Google, the things that you could buy a list for. So it would be things like geographic location, income level, number of kids, marital status, those kind of things, right? So that's just your demographics, and that is important, but the most important is your psychographic. How does your ideal client view the world? What goes on in their mind? What are the things that they're worried about, in their own words, that they're looking to you to solve? Coming up with those things and spending some time with digging into your ideal client's mind is gold. That can do so much for you, for your business, for growing your business, and for the people that you can best help. Because it's easier for them to know that you're talking to them when they hear you using their language and when you hear them saying the things that are going on in their heads. So really digging into this ideal client profile is so critical. So that's what an ideal client is, how to define that ideal client. Some things I want you to remember as you're identifying this ideal client. Well, some things I want you to remember as you're vetting your clients, your potential clients. Pay attention to your gut. That, I said that in the last video too. Pay attention to your gut. Don't be afraid of saying no. Gosh, I know how scary it is, and I've done it. I totally get it, so no judgment for sure, but I've taken on the clients who I knew weren't good fits, but I took them on because I felt like I needed the money and I felt desperate. So I'm going to encourage you, and I've had people encourage me and I didn't necessarily listen, but I'm going to really encourage you to think about this the next time you face a client situation that just doesn't feel right. And that would be to don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid. For whatever reason you are afraid. Is it if it's disappointment? Is it you don't want to disappoint them? Is it you don't want to disappoint yourself? Is it, gosh, I need the money. Gosh, I could use the job. Whatever the fear around that is, figure that out and don't be afraid of saying no. Because if you close that door on that situation, other opportunities are able to free up and open up. And that's important, to have the time and the space and the mental load space to be able to be ready for those new opportunities. So that would be something to be considering as you're vetting your new clients. And make sure that you're thinking through, as you're having that sales conversation, think through that ideal client profile, what you've identified, and recognize where they're not fitting in. If they're not fitting in, if you're getting that gut feeling, where are they not fitting in and why? And maybe you can gently dig into that a little bit on the conversation and find out if your gut is indeed factual, true, and maybe it's really not a good fit, or I don't know, maybe there's another reason. Who knows what the situation is, but you can actually have that conversation with your prospective clients, because you're going to do them a favor by saying no if you know that you're not going to be the best fit for them, because that allows them to close that door on you and be able to go find somebody who can help them. So I hope that helps, and I hope that helps you understand why defining that ideal client is so critical. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you in a couple of weeks. And until next time, have a stellar day. Bye.